Hey, sports fans, this is Robert with WTP Sports Dudes here live on this Sunday morning with my man Parlay Poe. How you feeling this morning?
I can't complain. Ain't nobody gonna listen to me. You hear me? But I'm here.
Good to see you, bro. We also got the young buck, Fan Dude Zaya. How you feeling this morning?
Man, I'm good. And we back with another banger.
Back with another banger. Well, over the last 3 days, we've been watching and tuning in real tightly on the NFL draft. And there were some things that happened and I think we all was like, what the? And then there was some other things that made us clap and was happy to see, players that we knew from our teams go off the board. Let's talk a little bit about day one and how does that draft stack up this past draft with talent in comparison to other drafts from the past? Is this draft been did it have a lot of talent in it in comparison to other drafts that we've seen in the past?
I would say it was heavy on the D lineman. I ain't never seen this many D linemen go. I'm talking about I think it was probably like 30 something D linemen went. It was I ain't never seen that. But you know what they say, you gotta stop the run. You know what I mean? And some of these dudes gotta do it by committee.
Yeah, I think it was this. I mean, I feel like every draft be talented. It's just as talented as the next draft or the previous draft, but we didn't see a talented quarterback draft. So people might negate it as, oh, this draft wasn't this or that because we ain't see the top guys in that QB room. But everywhere else you looked, you seen guys that's gonna be able to help football teams. You know what I'm saying? So I thought it was a great draft in all position groups outside of the quarterback room.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you both. I thought it was a lot of talent out there, and it was a nice run on defensive tackles for sure. And I mean, I didn't think Vernon Broughton from Texas was going to get drafted as high as he did, and he did. And I'm like, what? That shows you right there. The defensive tackles was needed in this draft because teams want to be able to stop the run. You want to try to make a team as one dimensional as possible, and you really want to be able to stop the run because if a team can run on you, it's curtains because they can milk that clock on you. And I agree with you too as well, Zay. The draft with quarterbacks was not there, and we seen I thought two quarterbacks that really fell way further than I thought they would. Well, I mean that I knew they would, but that's how it goes sometimes, man. In the NFL draft, is there anything else in comparison to this draft, to other drafts that you want to mention before we go on?
No, I ain't see one thing I ain't see was the need for inside linebackers. I seen the need for edge rushers. I ain't see the need for inside linebackers. They came on later, but in previous drafts you want to get that stout linebacker that's going to particularly start like day one. You know what I mean? I didn't see that in this draft.
There was
Yeah,
a few that went early. They wasn't heavy though. They
Yeah, I'm
wasn't
talking.
heavy.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the inside, like the tackling machines, like Rokon Smith and all them dudes. Like,
mhm.
yeah, I ain't seen none of them.
Well, Jahad went in the first round, and Carson went
Yeah,
the first pick in the second round. The dude out of UCLA. Them both of them is inside linebacker. That's why I said you ain't see a lot of them, but the two top guys went early.
yeah.
Yeah,
Jahad might not start though. You know what I mean? Like, with he got picked by the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
See,
yeah,
they got them Georgia boys at them linebackers, so he gonna help out a lot though. You know what I mean? Like, I wish we could have got him.
yeah, for sure. What's your thoughts on day one of the draft in this first round? What was your thoughts on that? How did that go for you? Did you see some guys go off the board from your teams that you was very excited about? What's your thoughts on that first round, day one of the round one of the NFL draft?
Surprise? Ain't no way I'm gonna let it talented dude go like that for Travis, man. There's no way that Browns step down, even though they got Mason, but to skip on a talent like Travis, man, he could take one side of the field away, or he could have played offense, arguably be coming in as your best wide receiver as a rookie. You know what I mean? But ain't no way I would have skipped on the generation talent like that, man.
I mean, listen, Paul, I like what the Browns did. Now that I think about it, I was confused when I was watching the draft, but now I'm understanding what they got going on. So, they traded all them picks for Deshaun Watson. They ain't had no first round pick next year. But what they did is they took two quarterbacks. You took Shador, who on most people's boards, he was the second quarterback on most people's board. You got him in the fifth round. You done drafted two quarterbacks. You got two other quarterbacks in your room that it could possibly start for your team. And if it don't work out, you can turn around in a deeper quarterback draft next year and draft a quarterback in the first round. So I can't even lie. Like I said, coming into the draft, it was three people that was in a tier by themselves, and Mason Graham was one of them. Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter. So for them to move back and still get a dude that's a difference maker like that on my board, I can't even be mad. I can't even be mad with them. And they got Quinshawn Judkins. They got the tackle machine out of UCLA. They got Harold Finnan out of Bowling Green, who I thought was maybe a top 5 tight end in the draft. And they got Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee. I thought they did a pretty decent job, man. I can't even lie. So outside of that, though, my team, we went Abuka. I didn't think we needed a receiver, but with all the health injuries that we went through last year, it was a value pick. I feel like Abuka could be the best receiver in this draft. So I can't be mad at the pick. I think I like what we did after that too. So I'm cool with what we did.
Yeah, it was a couple of moves that I thought, I didn't like the Giants, the move they made. I thought they could have got Jackson Dart either later in the first round with a trade between Kansas City or Philadelphia. I didn't think they needed to go right there because I don't think any of those teams was even thinking about Jackson Dart. But I mean, they pulled the trigger and got him. But I think they could have went a different move, went a different way, and got that pick. So that kind of like threw me off a little bit. And then I kind of agree with Parlay Poe. There's no way that I'm trading that pick and not get Travis Hunter, man. I don't think I would have been able to do that as a GM. I mean, they did it. They were able to get lucky and still be able to get some pieces on the back end of this draft, man, after that first round. But hell, you didn't know that was going to be able to happen for you, though. I wouldn't have done that. But I mean, hey, they pulled the trigger and they came out all right on the other end of it. But that one kind of shocked me as well. Were there a player or two on your big board that you felt should have went in that first round?
Well, they say, Shador, you know what I mean? Like Shador should have won in the first round, but they know something we don't know. You know what I mean? Like I know it can't be his talent, but they know all the baggage that come with. You see when he got drafted, they still was acting a fool. You know what I mean? Like so he bringing that baggage with him, but far as like the first round, it probably went like I thought it was gonna go.
Yeah.
The first round, yeah, it went pretty. Now, I kind of seen Shador falling. I ain't gonna say I was surprised that he fell out of the first round, but I was damn sure surprised he went to the fifth round.
Yeah.
I thought he could definitely went to the second round easily. But like the one guy I felt like shouldn't probably have made it to the second round was Nick Emenwari. How the hell he fall out of the first round?
His
Like,
injuries.
Yeah, man, that dude is built like an alien. I get the injuries and all that. Well, it's football. It's a violent sport.
Yeah.
I just don't see how he fell out of the first round though, Poe. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, he going to a team that's going to use him too, bro.
For sure they are. He
Yeah,
started day one.
yeah, they're going to use him.
Yeah, and I don't understand like Will Johnson falling out of the first round too. Like I get the injuries, no. Man, the talent, bro, the talent. You know, it's the talent for me.
Yeah. Let me tell you this about Arizona. If these two dudes, if Will Johnson and Denzel Burke come with an attitude and get right, watch Arizona defense, man. If they come and play with that chip on their shoulder, because dude, Denzel supposed to be in the first corner, what, last year, if he would have came out.
Yeah, that one game killed his draft stock.
Yeah, he supposed to be, you know what I mean? Like, and then he got in his head. So he a good zone dude, but they got to protect him on that one-on-one stuff until he get better. You know what I mean? But if these two dudes come to play, I like what Arizona did, man. I like what they did.
Man, Arizona got some dudes, bro.
Yeah, they do, man.
They got Cody. They got my middle linebacker Cody Simon. They got Jordan Birch, 6'6", 290. He ran a 4.6 in the 40. Walter Nolan, a lot of people's third or fourth defensive tackle in the draft.
He was my first.
Nah, he ain't over Mason Graham.
Yeah, no, and you know what I mean, but you know what I mean, but like he was like the second dude. Like we would have picked him if he was still there, probably.
Yeah. So universally top three.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say top three universally.
Yeah.
You know, man, they went straight defense like I thought they should have. I don't know. I think they still need a little bit of offensive help, but man, you got to shore up the defense, man. Like,
Yeah.
you got to shore up the defense. Defense win championships.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought more cornerbacks was going to get drafted in that first round than what were drafted. I had probably 5 dudes on my board in the first round, and I think maybe 2 got drafted in that first round. I knew that Michael Williams and Jalen Walker would go in the first round, but I didn't necessarily have them picked going that high. I had them around the late teens, early 20s. Um, I was impressed with the pick by the Chicago Bears taking Colston Loveland, man. I really think that he's probably the better tight end out of the two in terms of everything that you want a tight end to be able to do as far as being able to block and being able to catch the ball at that tight end position. So I think he has a better upside than Tyler Warren. So I was glad to see Chicago pull the trigger on him. That helped cool my mind a little bit because I was like, man, I thought the Bears was going to take a lineman because they need some lineman help, but they also need a pass catching tight end who can also be an inline blocker. He has to improve on that, of course, but
Yeah.
I think that was a good pick for them in that first round. Anything else y'all want to mention about the first round before we move on?
I love the Lions pick with my boy Tyleek. I think Tyleek came into the draft a bit underrated. You know, they had a second round grade for him, but my defense was so totally different when he was not on the field last year. I'm glad somebody in the first round recognized it. You know, he's just a massive human being, bro. Like, and he's real great in the run game. He's a good pass rusher as well too, though. He's not as good as a pass rusher though as he is a run stopper. But he's just a massive dude, bro, and he really changed our team on that defensive line last year. And you noticed it when he sat out of games. He sat out a couple games last year. You noticed it. It was a big difference. So I was like, man, at least somebody else noticed it, you know.
Right.
So let's look at day 2, which was filled with a bunch of defensive players and really good running backs. What's your thoughts on day 2, rounds 2 and 3?
This is when this is your this is when your scouts and everything come in. You know what I mean? Like the day 2, like the dudes who you missed out on that's still on that board. You know what I mean? Like a lot of running backs, man. We got to do for Iowa. You know what I mean? We got to do for Iowa. But only thing about him, he's not a home run hitter, but his vision is nice. I like his vision. But yeah, the second round was good too. Like you said, a lot of defensive linemen and running backs came off. So I was digging that.
Yeah, Caleb Johnson, he a workhorse, Paul.
Yeah.
He got great vision, like you said. Man, so round 2 for real. I was kind of, I mean, it was a good round, but I'll just say what I was shocked about. Um, I was shocked that RJ Harvey came off the board as fast as he did. I was surprised he came off the board before Cam Scatterbo. He went to the Broncos. I understand why they chose that pick though, but I feel like they could have waited and got somebody in the later rounds, like maybe a Jaden Blue or a Todd, not a Todd Jones, but a Brashard Smith or something. Brashard Smith ended up going to the Chiefs, I think. Yeah, he went to the Chiefs. So I don't know, and he went in the what 6th round, 7th round. Brashard Smith went in the 7th round. So I kind of felt like it was a couple people that reached in the 2nd round for real. Like Trey Harris went to the Chargers. Don't like the pick. He had that one big game for Ole Miss. Like really, I didn't like his film. So I don't know. It was some reaches in there for me.
You know, RJ, they was trying to compare him to Kamara. You know what I mean? That's why probably Peyton got him, because he a little scat back, but he run in between them tackles like Kamara do. You know what I mean? So he probably trying to duplicate that, especially with Bo Nix being the bailout dude.
Yeah, Kamara 6'1" though. People don't understand that. Kamara 6'1", 215. This little dude, he 5'8".
Yeah, he 5'8", but he can get through them holes. You see his film. He run through the holes, bro.
He got great film though.
Yeah,
that's why I said, like, I can understand why they picked him, because really they probably wanted Trey and he came off the board right before then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, Trey, he would have been perfect for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the fact that Travion Henderson and Junkins got off the board pretty quickly to the teams that needed a run. I thought Travion would have got off the board before Junkins, though. I thought he was going to be the first one picked out of those two backs. I like seeing teams pull the trigger on them because, you know, running back sometimes becomes a devalued position, but most of your plays are run plays, you know. You got to have that kind of balance. And I thought that the running back position should have, it was really good in the 2nd and 3rd rounds, though. But I think that position needs to be valued more than it's been valued, especially when you got all these pass catching running backs and the ones who can block as well in those pro sets. So I think that position, I don't know what it's going to look like next year, though, because this was a really, really good running back class this time. But I would like to see that position start to get valued a little bit more, because I thought only one was going to go in the 1st round, but we ended up getting 2. I thought it probably was premature to get the kid out of North Carolina, though. But I mean, they pulled the trigger on him. Anything else from that 2nd round? Did anyone get drafted from your college team that you felt went to the perfect situation?
I would say Will Johnson. for me, for Arizona, he went to a nice situation. He gonna play if it's healthy. If his health is right, he gonna play.
I mean, I feel like shit. Everybody, I feel like all my guys went to the right situations for themselves. Will Howard, he went to the Steelers. They ain't got no quarterback. He could compete. You know, Trey and Quinshawn, both the winter teams that they need running backs.
Yeah,
So Igbuka is the only guy, but he went in the first round, so we got a plan for him. But I mean, we did re-sign Chris Godwin. We still got Mike Evans. We got the kid out of Washington, McMillan. So I mean, he gonna see some rotation, but I mean, we pretty much have our starters. We was building depth through the draft on offense and defense. That's why we took 2 receivers, we took 2 edge rushers, we took two cornerbacks. So um, Tyleek gonna burn. He gonna get some burn. Um, Cody landed in a good spot. Cody in Arizona, their defense was terrible. He should be able to compete.
yeah, yeah,
So I like everywhere my guys went for real. Arizona, there's I think Denzel is a zone corner. He went to Arizona. They like to play zone.
yeah.
So man, listen. I feel like a lot of teams did what they were supposed to do in this draft, and I feel like a lot of them, like the majority of the teams, followed their schedule and their plan of what they needed, and I think it worked out for a lot of kids.
A lot of teams got better. A lot
Yeah.
of teams got better.
Yeah, yeah.
Man,
Before we talk about the Shador situation, were there quarterbacks out there that you seen get drafted and you were like, before him, before him, what before him?
yeah. All of them. All of them. That's why I said we ain't have enough info. All of them, because when Will Jackson Dart, especially when the Giants moved up with all that all the quarterbacks they have now, and then with the Tyler dude with the Saints. So, and Milrow got drafted before. A lot of them is Dylan. Oh man, all of them. I ain't understand that Dylan pick, but Zay said he understand it, but I ain't understand that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think. Go ahead,
Go
Zach.
ahead now. Go ahead now.
I think Cleveland was probably just trying to stack that quarterback room because they know in the NFL you always have these situations where a team, um, you know, doesn't have as many quarterbacks because somebody got hurt. Now they're scrambling around to try to find a guy, so they go get a dude off of Kroger's line who played quarterback
Yeah,
or playing in somebody's warehouse somewhere. So they feel like, oh, I can stack this quarterback room up. Somebody gonna need one, and I can go ahead and get me some compensation for it. But I didn't understand the Dylan Gabriel pick. I think he went in the 3rd round, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's way too high for him. But I mean, I think Cleveland got a plan, and I think hopefully it'll work out for him.
See, I mean, like I said, when it happened, I didn't get it. But when I sat back and I looked at it, I'm like, do you want to be Poe and leave without one of these guys that you probably wanted? You know what I mean? Or do you want to be desperate like how they look? And now you got the 2nd rated quarterback in the class, but you picked him in the 5th round. Then you got a dude that played a lot of football in college. You got Joe Flacco, and you move back into the 1st round next year in a quarterback heavy class, or is perceived to be that. So if it all don't work out this year, you still got Mason Graham in the 1st round. You still got a player that you're gonna be able to plug in day one. He's gonna be a good player, a good football player. So like, what did you miss out on? I don't feel like they missed out on anything.
it is the Browns though. We'll see.
Yeah, they desperate.
We'll see. You
They
know,
ain't had a quarterback in a forever lifetime.
Deshaun supposed to be that dude.
Yeah, he was supposed to be that dude. Let's talk about the Shador situation. What's your thoughts on that Shador falling in the draft? What was that all about? Did you hear any backstories? Um, you got any speculations? What's your thoughts?
They ain't wanted. I don't think they want to deal with the Prime situation. Prime thought he was trying to be like Manny and say who he don't want to play for, and he said he got some say so about that. But they show Prime like we still run this. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know if it's he hold the ball, but they said he ain't interviewed too good though. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
I'm hearing he ain't interviewed too good. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, they said he had a bad interview with Brian DeBall out of the Giants, the head coach out of the Giants. They said he came in the interview, the ball hitting with a situation, and like it was a football question, and Shador wasn't prepared, and Shador got mad because he wasn't prepared. So that's why they took Dart over him. I mean, after Dart, you go to the Saints, anything can happen with the Saints because they really not worried about certain things when it comes to your quarterback because they play in a dome. So if you ain't got the strongest arm, they don't mind that. They want a dude that they think got a skill set. You know what I'm saying? A certain type of skill set. So who over there? Kellen Moore, right? Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
Tyler Show is a better fit of what Kellen Moore is looking for than a Shador Sanders is. I'm saying, just talking strictly off a playing style. Feel like he really wanted Jackson Dart, but Jackson Dart was gone. So you got to move to the next guy on your board. Well, and really, the only guy I could see why, I mean, I don't see why they went over Shador is Dylan Gabriel for real. Because when you start to talk about, all right, Cam, we knew he was universal number one. Then you interview bad with the Giants. It's still a job interview. You can't go into these interviews and interview bad. You're interviewing for a job.
Yeah.
Tyler Shuck, New Orleans, I feel like like I said, he's a better fit for Kellen Moore. Then you get to Seattle, they take Jalen Milroe. Are we going to really honestly act like Jalen Milroe ain't the most gifted quarterback in the draft? You know what I'm saying? If somebody can get him right.
Yeah.
So Dylan Gabriel, though, that was the head scratcher.
And
So
they expect Milroe. Milroe ain't no day one starter. They expect him to sit and learn.
yeah,
You know what I mean? They already signed Darnold for that $100 million, so they expect Milroe to be a student right now.
for sure.
yeah. I mean, I heard the story about him not being prepared when a team called to have a meeting with him. And but my thing is, I guess I'm big on professionalism, man, and it's all right to go out there and have fun and all that good stuff. But man, when you look at the professionals beforehand, the Joe Montanas, the Tom Brady's, these dudes were so freaking professional, man,
Yeah.
that you should be able to take a page from their book and say, listen, this is the way you conduct yourself if you want to be an NFL quarterback. You think about all these other guys who went before him, none of them have that kind of moxie. They're not concerned with all that stuff, man. They're not trying to be like Prime was back in the days. This thing is a business, man, and they don't want all that flair and all that craziness. They want you to be a professional because that's what you are when you make it to the NFL. And you've already made enough money to where you understand that, listen, this is a business now. This is how I make my money. I gotta let that flashy stuff, that stuff got to go.
Yeah.
That stuff got to go, man. And I think that they felt like, hey, I don't want to have to deal with that with Prime. And even though Prime probably saying now that he would be in the background and he wouldn't be bothering him, But you can't come out ahead of time and say if he go to get drafted by Cleveland, you gonna block that move or whatever. You're gonna tell him not to go. Come on, man. It's later for that kind of stuff, man. These guys have dreams of playing in the NFL. Don't
They
get
do.
in their way. Don't get in their way.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, so
Yeah.
that kind of bothered me. Donnell comment. Oh, go ahead.
I'm saying though, like we say what we want. He still heard his name called, and he still can go out there and compete and go to work. So you just gotta be given an opportunity, and that's what he got.
Yeah.
Donnell said,
They still was hating on Prime though. They was hating on Prime for sure.
Yeah.
oh, yeah, for sure. Donnell said they wanted to send a statement to Deion Sanders. They didn't like his father, so they took it out on his son. They don't like the Deion was a line skipper. What do you mean by line skipper, Donnell? So the audience will know what you mean by line skipper. Why he gets us that his response to that.
Yeah.
150 players were drafted from the Big Ten and the SEC. Is that more leverage for those two conferences when it comes to the CFP negotiation and talks?
Oh, for sure. For sure it is. You see how it was like SEC and Big Ten like going in a row, man. You know what I mean? Like they was the only conference. And then your boy, he stayed on the board a long time too. Mike Green. I didn't think he was gonna stay on the board that long. Yeah, from what I was like, he stayed. I'm like, man, what's going on with that? That was another one too, because they probably did that on a level of competition. Like he did that, he played at Marshall. That's why he did that. You know what I mean? Like, but with the SEC, yeah, man, these dudes gonna be jumping in that portal, going straight to the SEC or the Big Ten.
Yeah, Mike Green had them sexual assault issues, man. When we see dudes have them sexual assault issues, they fall.
Yeah, you right about that. Yeah, you right about that. He had two of them too.
Yeah, he had two of them. I think the first one was in like 2022 or something.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I definitely think it's more leverage for both of them because, I mean, the reality is they're the best two conferences in college football. They're the conferences that people want to see on a week in, week out basis. I mean, of course, you look at some of those smaller games and the implications they might have on their team possibly getting in the college football playoffs. Like last year, we was watching Boise State, UNLV, Tulane, those teams, the military schools, because they had a chance to possibly get up in there. But outside of that, man, these two conferences is it, man. And I think that their players show that this is why we're it, because we produce players that's going to be in this NFL draft every year. And both of them set records. You know, for the most players drafted from their conferences, both of them smashed the record by like 8-9 players, which is unbelievable, really. Donnell said line skipper, how he didn't have to pay dues like the others and land a head coaching job. Okay. I mean sometimes your name, man, your name can lift your university. And I think his name lifted up Colorado because Colorado was in the dumps, bro. They was in the dumps. Now their tuition is almost twice as much.
I think your name, period, that goes in all sports, man. If you got a good name, they'll put you up. They'll let you skip the line. Steve Nash skipped the line. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a lot of dudes that skip the line because they have a good name. You know what I mean? Like, and Prime shoulda, if they were smart, they would have had Florida State athletic director would have called Prime off the dribble. You know what I mean? Like, even if you ain't like Prime, just still call him, man. Like, because Florida State ain't been like that. They had so many in and out coaches, man. Ain't no way, man. I would definitely inquire in Prime, like we did with Harbaugh. You know what I mean? Like our thing was in the dumps. We called on Harbaugh. He was at Stanford.
Yeah.
Hey, it's crazy that you say that, Poe, because it's like this is one of the biggest dudes out of your history of your program. He already into coaching as a head coach, and yeah, it wasn't on Division I football level, but call him. Why you ain't just calling, bro? Do your due diligence. You know,
Yeah.
that's all. That's all they want. That's all we wanted.
Bro, he got the #1 player in the nation to an HBCU. Come on, man. Come on, man. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. And it was dudes like, if they had some money, they would have followed him. They would, like they said, they was messing around. They couldn't compete with the linemen. Just get him on a bigger stage like Florida State, and what could he do? You know what I mean? He would. I mean, Florida State probably be in the playoffs every year with Prime, man. Dudes just want to play with Prime.
And they would lock up. They would probably lock up that state of Florida, that talent coming out of there, because right now Georgia, Texas, they're killing Florida State, and Miami with some of their top talent in that state. Those guys should not be leaving that state, man. When you got 3 prime universities like that there, so they got to get that together, man. And I think Prime would have definitely helped them do that. Now he's pulling in some of the former college football stars from his era to help him with coaching. I think for sure, man, he would have been a good fit for Florida State and what they need to do, man. Much better than Colorado for sure.
Yeah, because it's even though he Prime, they say why he ain't getting no players there. Man, people don't want to go to Colorado for real. It's beautiful in the summer and stuff, but in the winter they have real winters. You know what I mean? They have real winters. They have snow and everything. These Florida boys don't want to go up there for real.
Yeah. I mean, and when you think about it, I think Prime, at this point in his development, he needs to understand that the Prime that was in the NFL playing football does not have to be the Prime that's coaching right now. You don't have to have that same. I mean, I know that's his brand and all, but you can always rebrand yourself. You don't have to be that same dude all the time, because some people take his style out of context, man, and it can hurt. And I think that hurt his son in this instance. I could be wrong. I mean, because ain't nobody gonna come out and say that's what it was. But I think he need to, because he talks about God a lot, and God is very humble, bro. And I think that in that sense, he need to start going ahead being humble and be more about the grind.
What the hell with them people, man? What the hell with them people? Be yourself, dog. God made him like that. So yeah, God humble, but he made him like that. So be yourself, dog. I'm all for how Prime is. They better get with the program, bro. Prime is different. He's a different type of brother. If you can't deal with him, don't deal with him.
Well, Zay, when you trying to develop a beachhead behind enemy lines, bro, sometimes you got to be tactful, bro. You got to use tact. You got to have skill and strategy and all that whenever you're trying to. And sometimes you gotta pitch yourself to the side in order for the bigger picture, man. And I think there's a big picture out there that can allow Prime to make some noise, because who knows? He was the first one talking about having this these scrimmages during the spring. If he goes about it in a different manner, he might get that in a year or two. He might even get that next year. But I think him being the face of things, he gotta sort of pivot, man. In my opinion, I think he needs to pivot and sort of put that demeanor to the side, man. Because we know his greatness. We know his greatness, man.
A lot of coaches don't like Prime, man. You remember he was beefing at HBCU with coaches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just they don't like the arrogancy, man. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you do got to pipe it down. But I'm all for being yourself, but you got to know when to be yourself. You know what I mean? You got to pipe it down, especially if you're in this kid's living room, and you know what I mean. His mom very very humble, like where her son gonna go. I'm talking about you got to feed into that too. You know what I mean? Like to get that kid. Yeah.
Hey, y'all the big homies, and I definitely respect y'all's views and y'all's wisdom. But just me, I'm gonna be unapologetic myself all the time. I will never let nobody change me ever. And if you don't like it,
will it cost you something?
man, listen. You could say it's gonna cost me anything, but as long as God put breath in my body, it didn't cost me nothing. If it don't cost me my family, it didn't cost me nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna unapologetically be myself until God take breath out of my body, bro.
Yeah. I mean, and I hear what you're saying, and I agree. Well, all I'm saying is, at certain points in your life, you develop, you grow, you learn, you change. You develop, you grow, you learn, you change.
You
Nobody
evolve. You
stays.
don't change. You
Well,
evolve.
evolve too, but that's still evolution is still change, bro. So you got to be willing to evolve. Then let me use that word instead of change. Let me use evolve.
See,
And you
changing to
evolve.
me, I think they're two different words because change is like the core of you is different. Now, you can evolve and become a better version of yourself, but your values and your core stay the same usually, unless you change. You see what I'm saying? Like you have to change who you are for your core to change.
I mean, you got a point. You got a point. But I think we all talking the same way. Um, but let's move on to the next thing. Donnell said, not to mention, he brings a lot of attention to the programs, which
Mhm.
he brings. He's definitely gonna put you up under the microscope. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Celebrity fathers always do that, man. That's why we had to let that's why we was good. Scottie Pippen's son got that portal because Scottie was trying to control stuff at the practices and stuff like that. So in Michigan, so we jumping that portal, man. We good.
Yeah, get out of here. We don't want that headache, bro.
Yeah.
We don't want that headache. How do you feel about your team's draft? How you feel about the Steelers? How you feel about the Bucks? And I'll talk about the Titans.
I think we did good, man. We did some need stuff. We got I don't know why we made a couple moves with the Jack Sawyer. That's the only thing puzzling me about Jack Sawyer. Because
You
we
didn't
got
like that pick?
I'm saying it's puzzling me because we got edge rushers. You know what I mean? So they must have a different plan for him. You know what I mean? They must have a different plan for him. But we got we did good with the defensive tackles. We got the big dude from Oregon. He showed signs of life, and then we got the guy from Iowa.
Yeah. I like yeah.
Yeah, he showed signs of life, but we had the need. We got that need. Will hopefully he can compete. You know what I mean? And then we got this one dude named Dante. Man, kid, I looked at his film. Only thing wrong with him, he long, but he just don't get that head around. You know what I mean? Like he a long corner. So I'm gonna see if he could play special teams. But I think we did decent.
Yeah, why y'all ain't go offensive line though?
Cause we already got all these offensive line. They was hurt last year. They got hurt.
Oh, I thought y'all sent somebody off and he went to Tennessee.
Nah, we did, but we dude, he was an open gate. He was the lowest rated left tackle.
Oh, okay. He said he called him an open gate.
Yeah.
Now guess where he at?
Yeah. He at Tennessee. He at Tennessee got the block for Cam now. You know what I mean?
We got to get Cam killed.
Yeah, he about to get killed. We had the one dude. Then we picked him high. He didn't play. He only played like a game and got hurt. We had Broderick Jones. Put him. He was at right tackle, but he didn't feel comfortable over there. But since he was our number one pick from Georgia, he about to play his regular position left tackle now. You know what I mean? Like we got some linemen. We got some linemen for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Yeah, I like what we did, man. I feel like we took Ibuka. We took him because he was probably the best guy on the board, and it was a value pick. But I think Ibuka start next year for real. Honestly, I think he start at the slot. I think Godwin, you can move him inside or outside. So him, Mike Evans, Ibuka. Then we're gonna have McMillan coming in and Sterling Shepard. They're both gonna be in the rotation. So I mean, the first round, I love the first round pick. You know, the second round we went with Benjamin Morrison, who had a first round grade. So another value pick at a position need. You know what I'm saying? Then we got a cornerback out of Kansas State that I'm really not too familiar with him, but um, one thing I know about my team is we usually draft well. So I'm just gonna trust my scouting department with that pick. The one kid we got out of Central Arkansas, he led that division of football in sacks 4 years in a row. So I think they just took him for his upside, even though he's kind of a smaller type of edge rusher. I think he only like 6'1", but he 260 or something like that. He just don't really got the height. But for him to be able to lead the FCS in sacks 4 years in a row, mean he could play. And they said he was balling at the Senior Bowl. So
Yeah, he
definitely
got
like that pick. And we drafted another edge rusher out of SMU who I'm not too familiar with either. But like I said, I trust my scouting department. And then we went ahead and took Tej Johnson. And yeah, we know Tej Johnson was the lightest dude at the combine. He ran a slow 40 time. But on tape, that dude got some serious football speed. So, I mean, we wanted to build depth. I was surprised we didn't take a safety in this draft, though. Real surprised about that because, I mean, Antoine Winfield and my dude Christian, they keep getting banged up every year. We got Merriweather to back up, but he get banged up too. All three of them get banged up. So just the depth back there is just, I don't know, them dudes, I don't know, they like light feathered or something. Like they always getting hurt. Antoine Winfield getting up there in age too. So I
yeah.
felt like we should have took a safety for real.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I like the Titans pick. I kind of wanted them to trade back um, and give up that first round pick and then gather some more picks. But I mean, I think we got the best quarterback in this year's draft. It wasn't a really good quarterback draft class, but I think we got the best one that was there. I mean, a guy who had 0 stars. Now he's the first pick in the NFL draft, and he showed us that he got athleticism and he can spin that ball. We got edge help because we lost Harold Landry, so we had to fill that void. We got some safety help because during the middle of the season we got rid of Bynard and Quandre the Giant was hurt late in the season, so we filled that void with the kid out of Penn State, Kevin Winston. He might have been hurt a little bit this year too.
He
For that.
was, but I think
Yeah.
he the third best safety in the draft. He better than your dude Makuba, that's for sure.
Who's
Well,
that?
I mean, you can hate on Makuba if you want. You know, that's what haters do. And then we in the fourth round we really got some offensive help with the wide receivers. We lost a wide receiver at the end of the season who went in free agency and went somewhere else. So we got somebody around Calvin Ridley that can help. I think it's Calvin Ridley that can help us. Hopefully these guys pan out, man, because we really need somebody for him to throw to. Um, Talking about Cam Ward. We got a good tight end already on our roster, but we also picked up Gunnar Ham, who I think will be a really good addition for us.
Yeah.
And then we got Khalil Mullins, we needed a running back for your short yardage, man, because we didn't have that. Our two backs are not short yardage backs. When you're talking about uh, Pollard and the other kid, I think his name might be Levert or something like that. We needed Mullins, man, for short yard situations, man, especially when you can pull the ball out of his belly and Cam can get us an extra 2 or 3 yards sometimes, or we can just hand it to him and he can move the pile. So that was a really, really good pick. So I think overall the Titans did pretty well out there. Spears, yeah, Spears.
Yeah.
Oh, Scary man, you are the man, bro. You are the man. Yeah. So I think they did really, really well in this draft this year. So going into next year, from your college team, who do you who do you think is going to be the guy that from your team, one or two guys that are going to be in next year's draft that you think will go really, really high?
Next year, uh, I want to say I'm gonna say a couple dudes on our line, Crippen and this dude named El Hattie. Uh, they came back like they could have went to the draft, but they came back to anchor this line. So I'm gonna say them two right now. But we got edge rushers, but I don't know how the edge rushers gonna go next year. You know what I mean? They probably won't be drafting edge rushers next year like they did this year. So I'm gonna say the two offensive linemen. Everybody need offensive linemen or defensive line. So I'm gonna say them two dudes for us.
Yeah, I think the left tackle Ethan, he's gonna be a first round pick next year. Cardinal Tate is gonna be a border round first round pick next year. Um, Caleb Downs is gonna be a first round pick next year.
No question.
Um, and then after that, that's it for real. I think that go first round. It's gonna be other picks in the draft though. We're gonna probably have like 8 or 9 guys that go in the draft next year, but them are just the first round guys, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Texas might have one guy. Anthony Hill probably has a chance to be the first linebacker off the board. But outside of that, he might be the only first round guy because we don't really have any offensive linemen that's coming out other than DJ Campbell at the right guard position. But he's had trouble in pass pro. So if he cleans that up, he has a chance because he's a mauler at the guard position in terms of run blocking. But he got to get that pass pro together. But outside of that, because I don't think Arch Manning is coming out next year. I think he's going to play for 2 years. Um, Outside of that, Anthony Hill. Malik Muhammad might go in the second or third round, but he has to clean up some stuff as well. But I think the scheme this year, he'll be in a better position to have better stats than he had last year.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, that's all I had on this NFL draft, man, today. If y'all got anything else y'all want to discuss, we can do that. Or if anybody got any questions in the chat, we can entertain those for a couple of minutes.
I want to say good luck to Donovan Edwards, man. He got signed by the Jets, so we see what kind of situation that is. He know he went undrafted, so he know he got to work extra hard. You know what I mean? That shy role don't don't work in the NFL. You got to put your head down and run that ball, man.
Yeah, the Bengals signed Seth McLaughlin, so
Yeah.
that was a good pickup for them.
Isaiah Bond really he didn't get drafted, so somebody's picking him up as an undrafted free agent.
He already got picked up. Trust me.
Yeah, he got picked up. He got picked up, but they haven't disclosed who the team. Well, they may have by now, but last night they hadn't disclosed who he had went to. But when you already had a bad season, and then you compile that with not a good combine, and then you go and catch a case, which we got to wait until that comes out. You go undrafted. When you were predicted to be a first round draft pick, You got these young people got to understand it, man. You got to keep your nose clean.
Yeah.
Get you a girlfriend and stick to that. Even though there's gonna be honeys out there trying to give it to you, you got to be disciplined, bro, and not do it, man. Because I'm telling you, a lot of times it's a trap.
Yeah.
It's a trap.
Oh,
And
he
you got to be
might not
careful.
been signed because they ain't saying who he got signed to.
They ain't saying who he got signed to. Yeah. So,
Yeah, like, oh man.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a sad situation, man.
yeah. Hey, just a couple notable names though that my Buccaneers signed. We signed your guy out of Texas, Jake Majors. We signed Shiloh Sanders, safety. Who else we signed? Uh, Josh Williams, running back out of LSU.
Yeah.
We also signed Will Shepard out of Colorado. There's some other notable names.
Jake Majors, he gonna make y'all's team, man. Either at the center position or guard, he gonna make y'all's team. That dude is very, very smart, man. Not the biggest of guys, but super smart. So he's gonna be able to call the plays for the line to pick up the blocks they need to pick up. He's a good addition for y'all. Post game want to know who do we think who do we think had the best draft overall? What team had the best draft overall?
Uh, man, I don't know why, man. I keep going back to the Arizona Cardinals, man. And Green Bay had a nice draft too, man.
That's because you a defensive guy, Poe.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. Because they drafted defense, man. I was like, this is the draft, man. Like,
Man, like it's a lot of teams that got better, man.
yeah,
So I, I could say I like what Arizona did. I like what Chicago did. Who else I like? I like what Denver did. Um, I'm just going through the teams real quick. Hold up. I
I
don't
kind of like
understand.
what New England did too.
New England, yeah, New
yeah,
England did. Yeah, they had a nice draft too. They had a lot of picks too.
Yeah, they was moving
yeah,
around on that board.
They had they had great value picks in my opinion.
Yeah,
You know, to get Joshua Farmer, I said his name a few times. I was real high on Joshua Farmer.
yeah, yeah.
Big dude, nimble on his feet, elusive. Man, I think a lot of teams got better for real,
Yeah.
bro. It's kind of hard to say who
Jeff
you
like
think.
Jeff like said Panthers, and what Donnell say? Pittsburgh Will Howard could become great. Like I hope Pittsburgh had the formula. Where did the big dude from Florida get picked up?
The 400 pound dude.
Yeah, number 21, the big dude.
I don't know. I don't
yeah.
remember seeing him getting called. I don't
Bruh,
remember.
if he can move in that, well, people was shined away from that 3-4 now because that they don't got big nose guards like that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, so it's more like a 4-4-3 or a slash, some kind of uh rover thing where you had like four linebackers and all this other stuff. Yeah, but if he was 3-4, if Belichick was still there at New England, he would have picked them for that 3-4. Trust me.
Yeah,
But Vrabel,
definitely.
man, Vrabel making some moves, man. New England about to be back.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, New England about to be back.
Yeah, they had great value too, man. They had great value though. I'm saying Kyle Williams.
Yeah,
Kyle Williams. It, he might be top 4 or 5 slots in the draft, in my opinion. Slot receivers.
yeah,
So that was a good pick in the third round. They got the best center in the draft, Jared Wilson. So that they really shored up that offensive line all the way now.
yeah,
Uh, they know who they starting five gonna be coming into the season. That's all you really want. Trey. Then you got Trey. I don't know if y'all hip to the dude Swinson out of LSU, the edge. But in the 5th round, they got him in the 5th round. Value. Like he's like a third. I viewed him as like a 3rd round dude for real. So they had value picks in my opinion.
Yeah.
Is that big boy's name? Is his name Cam Jackson?
That might be his name.
Let me see.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, he went in the 5th round to the Carolina Panthers.
Oh
Pick
man.
140.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, post game. We talked about Shador earlier in the stream. I believe he has a really good chance of becoming the starting quarterback at Cleveland at some point this season. He may not start off the season as the starter, but I think at some point they'll move on away from Joe Flacco and go with him or what is his name? Pickett.
Yeah, Pickett the starter. Pickett plugged in as the starter right now.
Yeah. So I think he has a chance. It just depends on how Pickett plays. Though if Pickett plays well, then Shador gonna sit back there. But I think he has a chance to possibly get that starting job at some point in his future at Cleveland.
He need that. They still ain't fantastic with the receivers, man. They got to get one of these dudes that's gonna make a play for him. I know Jerry Jeudy be like that, but he just he a go route guy.
Yeah.
But they got this one dude, little fast dude named Mitchell, man. I'm telling you, he killed Joey Porter. He was killing Joey Porter. Dude named Mitchell for Cleveland.
Hey, post game. I think by the time it's all said and done, the Browns cut Shador.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I think they're gonna cut him. Cause like I said, bro, they don't. I don't think they. First of all, I don't think they're gonna give him a fair shake. They ain't gonna give him a fair shake. I don't want him to be in the Browns anyway. I don't want him to go to football purgatory. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather him get cut and go somewhere where he want to go, where he feel comfortable going. And not to say like somebody gonna instantly pick him up or whatever, but I don't think. Man, they got 5. What they got? 6 quarterbacks, Bo?
Yeah.
Bro, you got to cut somebody.
Yeah.
You gonna cut your 3rd round pick?
Yeah. You know what? That was crazy. You know what's crazy though? He probably would have been better going undrafted.
Yeah. I thought Quinn would have did better going. Well, he ended up going to a good situation too, though. But I thought Quinn would have been done better if he gone undrafted as well. But he went to a good situation. Donnell want to know who will get cut from Cleveland's 5 quarterbacks on this roster.
They already told you.
I mean, look, Shador gonna get cut. They gonna keep Flacco. Flacco gonna be the starter. I think he gonna win out. I think he gonna beat Pickett for the job. I don't think you cut your 3rd round pick, and then eventually at some point they gonna cut Deshaun Watson. They ain't gonna cut him this year. They probably gonna cut him after this year though.
Yeah, they got to swallow that contract too. You know what? But this how you gonna tell who ain't gonna play, especially if they don't get no preseason run. Yeah. You know what I mean? If they don't get no preseason run, they're getting cut, man. Because that's when because Flacco probably play a game at the end. You know what I mean? Him and Pickens, if they're gonna be for the starters, but Shador and Gabriel and Deshaun ain't gonna play. Them 2 dudes gonna be playing in the preseason a lot.
I think for sure Gabriel getting cut. You got to have a special kind of system for him. He doesn't have arm strength. The way his skill set, I mean, he can make defenses play a little bit more honest because he got some legs and he can run, but he's short, can't throw real far, and if he is late on the throw, that shit's going the other way for a pick 6. I think Gabriel for sure is
Yeah.
going to be one that get cut. He just don't have the intangibles that's needed. Not with Cleveland. Now he might go to another system and play like in Arizona somewhere where they got a little quarterback, maybe even Tampa Bay. But he ain't doing nothing at Cleveland for sure.
He don't fit Tampa, but man, the third if Cleveland cut their third round pick, I'm done. They need to get rid of their owner.
Yeah.
Who they picked third again? That was Gabriel, right? Yeah.
Yeah, if they cut their third round pick, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, that's trash. That's trash, bro. I told you they Cleveland, bro. They Cleveland.
Yeah,
Coach
but
Game said he thinks Shador was a steal of the draft, and him going so late has nothing to do with his game. Oh yeah, we all agree with that. They don't have nothing to do with his game.
But we got to see how him holding the ball transfer to this pro stuff. And T1 always say about his percentage, that don't matter, man. You don't want to take all these sacks. I don't care who you are. You're gonna throw that thing away. You ain't taking all these sacks. He been sacked like 60 times, bro. Like, come on, man. He hold that ball, man. But in this pro, you got to throw these dudes open, man. Throw that ball if you cover. You got to throw it.
And NFL scouts, those guys they see you getting pressured. They rather see you throw the freaking ball away than to hold it too long and get murdered and get killed. They're gonna be like, this dude, we can't keep him. He ain't gonna last that long.
Yeah.
You gotta know that they understand that if you're getting pressured and you gotta let the play another down, throw that ball away, man. Don't be biting the bullet. They don't want you to do that because they need you to be out there on the field playing, not taking all kinds of sacks. And yeah, his O-line was an issue for sure. Which and I said it earlier in the in one of our videos, whenever they went to the 11 personnel, one tight end, one back, they had a much better offense and they gave him a lot more time. But when they started going back to that 10 personnel, he was getting killed in 10 personnel. That offensive line couldn't hold up. You needed to have a tight end there. And when they played 11 personnel, there was a much better offensive efficiency team. In my opinion, I thought they were much better when they played 11 personnel.
But that's about coaching, man. If you know your O-line ain't right, you got to run an offense where these wide receivers shorten up their routes. You know what I mean? Like, they can't go all the way downfield and you know this O-line is trash. They got to shorten up their routes. Slant, it can't be a 10 route. They got to go 8. You know what I mean? Like, little slants and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, that's about coaching too.
Yeah. Hey, and both can be true post game. His O-line was tissue, but he could hold the ball too long too. Both can be true.
Yeah, for sure.
BYU put something on it. That game still stuck in my head.
Man, it lived rent free.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that game stuck in my head. He was getting murdered out there, man.
Yeah, for sure. Well, fellas, I got to get out of here, man. But if y'all got anything else, we can talk a little bit longer.
Man, I got to go too, for real.
All right, let's end it.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning in with us, man. We got 8 people out there in the chat with us. We appreciate y'all. Hopefully, we can do something again tomorrow or maybe on Tuesday. But we'll probably be getting into some NBA action since the draft is over with. But with nothing else to say, we're going to go with this. Peace.